All right. Good evening, everybody. Just gotta mute the stream here on my other device that I'm monitoring the chat with. Oh, shit. See? All right. Let's see. Oh, shit. Off to a good start, right? You know what? I'll just mute the whole thing. That worked a lot better. So this evening, have I guess, a somewhat interesting topic that I wasn't really planning to talk about until I made a post about it on Twitter, and it got some, what I think are, I guess for lack of a better word, interesting reactions. So first, I suppose we'll take a look at the article and the video. Isn't it funny you can't make fun of shit animation without some soy boy defending it? Yeah, this, I'm not sure if we're referring to the same thing, but tonight I'm talking about the, I don't know if you guys saw this, the Japanese guy that married a hologram. So there's an interesting relationship for you. But are you talking about the Goblin Slayer thing? Or you or no, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe the Crunchyroll shows or She-Ra or something like that. What's happening? A lot is happening. Well, not really. Star Trek is now real life. Yes, I suppose it is. Let me unmute myself on Discord. Yeah, I might. I don't know if you're free, Makitan. I'll pull you in soon, or if you're here. And I think Keenan is going to come on as well soon. But let's take a look at the video first, because there's a video of this dude, and then we'll look at the article, and then we'll talk about some of the reactions to my post. It's about the comic Squirrel Girl, and 4chan made a better representation. I'm not surprised. I saw the art for that. It looked pretty shitty. Hey, Bone Zone. All right, so man marries virtual reality hologram in 18K ceremony. There's a great use of $18,000. I'm gonna lower this a little bit because I don't want it to blast through the speakers and the microphone, but hopefully you'll be able to hear it. I don't know if it's just music or there's audio. Might just be written word. We'll full screen it and find out. This is the world we're in. Mom and Dad were not proud. Two nukes were not enough. I believe that's the slogan for Hiroshima cereal, right? Oh no, that's so cringy.
We can't forget that love is love, though.
Why? Why did he let this be recorded? I'm suffering secondhand embarrassment. Bone Zone, thanks for the $5, man. Oh, this is so bad. Alright, well, I guess before the next thing plays. Wait, man marries a computer character in Japan. Is this the same one, or is this another guy? Let's see what happens. Oh no, it's the same. But it's...
A 35-year-old man in Japan has decided to give up his pursuit of finding the perfect woman, instead opting to marry
Alright, you get the idea. This is basically the same thing. So the art, I'd rather look at this article because it was a little bit better written. And speaking of love is love, we have love is love is love is love is love is love is love. During his 2016 Tony Award acceptance speech, Lin-Manuel Miranda reminded us that love knows no boundaries. Akihiko Kondo's mother, however, does. She refused an invitation to her only son's wedding this month because he was marrying a hologram. For Mother, it wasn't something to celebrate. The rest of his family agreed. None of Kondo's relatives attended the 2 million yen ceremony in which the 35-year-old wed a 16-year-old virtual reality singer named Hatsune Miku. The pair did attract a crowd, though. Some 40 guests gathered at a Tokyo hall to watch a human tie the knot with an animated character present in the form of a portable stuffed doll, described by the AFP as having saucer eyes and lengthy aquamarine pigtails. I never cheated on her. I've always been in love with Miku-san, according to Kondo, who uses a Japanese honorific suffix meant as a title of respect. Yeah, we've all watched the anime. I've been thinking about her every day, he said, a week after the wedding. Is anybody thinking this is crazy, or am I the only one here? I mean, wait till you get to the responses that I got when I posted this on Twitter. Hatsune Miku is the name of a Vocaloid software... Well, got a little static there. Software voice bank developed by Krypton Future Media and its anthropomorphic anime character. Her personification has been marketed as a virtual idol and is performed on stage at concerts as an animated projection. Kondo has been living with a moving, talking hologram of Miku, which floats in a $2,800 desktop device since March. I'm in love with the whole concept of Hatsune Miku, but I got married to the Miku of my house, the school administrator explained, adding that he considers himself an ordinary married man. Now, aren't the students that go to the school that he works at gonna see this? And, isn't he gonna be mocked relentlessly into suicide or something? Because I just can't see this going over well. His wife wakes him up each morning and greets him each evening. She even tells him when it's time to go to bed. Yeah, because she's, programmed to do that. Where Kondo sleeps next to the doll version of Miku, who wears a wedding band around her left wrist because she doesn't have any fingers. Hologram device manufacturer Gatebox even issued the couple a marriage certificate, one of more than 3,700 distributed for cross-dimension marriages. That's what we're calling them now, cross-dimension. There must be some people who can't come forward and say they want to hold a wedding. I want to give them a supportive push, Kondo said. He claims a woman at his former workplace bullied him into a nervous breakdown, and he vowed never to marry until he met Miku. As unfortunate as that is, I'm not really seeing the connection as to how that would be like, I now vow to never get married, even though it doesn't sound like they were in a relationship together, because it doesn't say ex-girlfriend, doesn't say love interest that rejected him. It just says he was bullied. So it's Miku-san is the woman I love a lot, and also the one who saved me, he told AFP. I believe we must consider all kinds of love and all kinds of happiness. Uh-oh. After all, two-dimensional characters can't cheat, age, or die. So that's the line that I saw. They can't cheat, age, or die. Yeah, because they put it in the headline here for the New York Post. And my response was, she also can't love you, because, it's not really possible for a hologram to have real emotions towards you. The whole thing's kind of a pretend relationship. But apparently, I was stupid. See, I didn't know. I didn't know that love is love is love is love and whatnot. So we have some replies. I'm sure, I don't know how happy some people are going to be included in the stream, but not really ripping on them necessarily. We'll get to those. So we have still better than marrying a gold-digging bitch. This is Cecil. I know him. He's not bad. Look, not that he doesn't have a point in the sense that people like that exist, but I just feel as though if you get to the point of marrying somebody, you're going to know what they're expecting out of you financially probably before that, especially if they're into quote unquote gold digging. I'm gonna have to if you could mute the mic or something. Let's see. We have. All right, so I'm going to go down to the other responses because those weren't really important. Those were more, just conversation. We have neither will a real woman. Now, this is a response that you're going to hear a lot. a lot. And it's... the NPC meme and how it's usually aimed at left-leaning people? Well, I feel like it applies here because I've seen so many people come up with this reply and they word it in almost the same way. So it's just like another dialogue branch. And here we go. So we have neither will a real woman. Okay, so this conversation kind of broke past the surface level. This random dude jumps in, LOL, does your woman not love you or something, which doesn't make any sense because, as I said, that would be more accurate for the neither can a real woman crowd. So we have 50% of marriages end in divorce, with the majority of those divorces filed by women. It's simple statistical fact. IRL women don't love you. Which, now, I never denied this this statistic. I've heard it before. But that doesn't follow that if 50% of marriages end in divorce, and even if the majority of those are filed by women, that doesn't follow that women don't love you as a conclusion. That would just be, okay, maybe you should be cautious in who you marry. And it's still 50%, okay? I mean, that's still another 50% that's successful. You could say, all right, well, the odds are like flipping a coin, sure. So I just said if you're just going by fact, then at best you could argue it's true of whatever percentage of women initiate. But even then, it's only women who marry, and you'd have to take into account the reasoning behind it, infidelity, etc. Because people always tend to throw out the 50% statistic to kind of prove their point, like, marriage is a fucking bad idea and whatnot, which, all right, I guess if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. But to try to twist the statistic like this and just leave it at the surface level, I really feel like it's a little bit dishonest and sort of, it's used more to confirm a bias than it is to really kind of get to the, reasoning behind it. Because like I said, if you just throw out the 50% out there, it's like, yeah, okay, that sounds bad. And then you say, okay, well, majority of women are the ones who initiate. Okay, that sounds bad too. But what are the reasons for the initiation? Is it, you kind of have to get in there and break it down beyond just that surface level. You can't just end it there and make it sound like, oh, well, the women did it, so obviously they're the ones that are fucked in the head. I mean, you don't know. It could be any number of reasons. Did the guy cheat? There's other reasons beyond just, okay, IRL women don't love you.
But they don't.
Well, okay. I mean, I guess that's... So here we go. Neither will women, TBH. I think that this guy said he was being sarcastic, but he just said love is just a chemical reaction. Then you got how AI will redefine love, which I think is a really stupid thing because it's not... It's artificial intelligence. It's never going to be, at least not in a time that I believe we can conceive, it's never going to be real, real human love. It's not the same thing. It's simulated. Don't you think no-fault divorce laws have caused this massive growth in the divorce rates over the past years, or past 50 years? I mean,
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
have any evidence to the contrary or to support it, but it does.
I mean, it just like
it's a little bit more than just suspicious that with the growth of no-fault divorce laws that or the spread, because 100 years ago it was only in what, 1 or 2 states, and then now it's in every state. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see the massive growth because people get married on a whim and then they get divorced on a whim.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just a common sense type thing. It seems like the value of relationships and the value of marriage has kind of been devalued, I guess. So it's not seen as this sacred thing that it was seen as before. So people don't take it as seriously, and they think, oh well, it's just another contract, and if I ever get unhappy, I could just turn it off like that. We sign off, we tear it up, whatever, it's over. And I mean, there's pros and cons to that. Obviously, you could say, okay, well, the pro of people being able to more easily escape is now, they don't have to deal with abuse or whatever. But I feel like what people are willing to accept in a relationship sometimes has become a little bit more unrealistic, where it's like any type of adversity or struggle is seen as too much to deal with, and so people just kind of check out, which is a little bit unrealistic. I mean, you spend enough time with somebody, and there's going to be disagreements, there's going to be problems. Obviously, there are some worse than others that maybe you can't work past, maybe if somebody's constantly being unfaithful or, something like that. All right. That's obviously, they don't have your best interests in mind. They're not working with you to make the relationship work out. But I've seen people end things for far less. And I think that's, a big part of where this type of stuff is coming from. Let me just keep scrolling here, because there's so many. Like, Just Like a Real Woman. Neither can real woman. That's worded poorly. If I wanted love, I'd get a pet. Okay, get a pet then. There were quite a few of these. Nor will today's women love you. They're too busy with their failing careers. It's like they take the worst stereotype they can find and then use that to justify the reason. And the thing is, you'll notice that my post simply just said, she can't love you. I didn't say marriage is inherently good, or all women are capable of love, or anything that was, remotely of that nature. I just pointed out the simple fact that a fake, it's not even a full-size thing, it's a little hologram, can't be in love with you. You could say, all right, real life love that would actually constitute, love is rare. Maybe. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I just don't see this as something to strive for or something to praise or prop up as some sort of big solution for things, because, first of all, it's a genetic dead end. If you don't find a real person and you don't reproduce with them, then obviously, that's your life and that's the end of it, which, okay, if that's your choice, that's your choice. But I feel like all these people that are just kind of like, took the black pill on relationships, it's over, all of them are pointless. They're obviously still seeking some sort of companionship when they're trying to go for these ridiculous, placebos. And I'm not here to, deny that it isn't difficult to meet the right person, but it's such a weird thing to check out like this and, think you're right and think you're being rational about it when you've basically just done the opposite of what these type of men complain that feminists do to them in saying things like, oh, you know, all men are potential rapists. I mean, if you don't agree with that statement, but you somehow think, oh, you know, real life women, you know, super generalized, can't care for you, I'm really failing to see what the difference is other than one being a more agreeable statement because it doesn't come from a feminist perspective. You know, it's still a massive generalization about half of the population. And, you know, people are saying things like, well, you know, they just want, you know, they want half your stuff, they want your money, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, all right, you know, fair enough. There are obviously people out there that are into that kind of thing, but it's your job as an individual with your own, you know, sense of being and capabilities of critical thought to not deal with people like that. Now, obviously, sometimes people get emotionally manipulated and put into, you know, shitty situations, and hindsight is 20/20, and they don't realize until it's over, and that sucks. But to then be like, oh, well, you know, from now on, I give up, fuck women, I'm done. I just, that's mind-blowing to me. And one of the reasons I feel like that is because then you're essentially letting the person that hurt you dictate the course of the rest of your life. That person ruined you to the point that you have then decided to spend the rest of your life alone because you are afraid that it might happen again. And it very well could happen again. But I'm not sure that means that you should just throw in the towel and be happy with that. This is a tragic story. A man marrying a computer is essentially giving up on life. Same with women who marry their dogs or themselves. Yeah, I mean, it's just a replacement. These people want to act like they're red-pilled, they're above the need, but yet then they want to come up with all these stupid little workarounds where they can, like, have that illusion of companionship without the actual work or risk of hurt involved.
Exactly. If they were so above it all, then why would they need to marry a hologram?
Right. You can't escape it. I mean, unless you are honestly somebody that, you know, ends up spending your life alone and you are somehow content with that, okay, sure. But if you're somebody that's, like, saying all this shit and then you're looking for, like, some kind of fake, like a hologram or a doll or some other stupid instrument that makes you believe in your head that you have something that you don't, you're lying to yourself. You're in denial. Nobody believes you. And I just wish these people would admit that. I just wish they would admit, yeah, I want this, but, you know, I'm afraid of being hurt. Nobody wants to say that, though. They want to pretend they're being rational and logical about it. There's nothing logical about marrying a doll or a hologram, or there's nothing logical about having sex with a doll. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. First of all, it's not even sex. Nobody wants to hear that. Or, well, at least none of the people that support the idea of it. They get very mad when you say that. So we continue down. You know, you see more of the stuff. So in a sense, she's just like most modern women who only love your Visa card. Why would you ever hand your credit card over to, you know, just a girlfriend or whatever? That's moronic. I feel as though, you know, and I can't be sure, but I feel as though a lot of the guys that talk like this, now, sure, maybe a small percentage of them have been genuinely damaged by somebody, but it seems to me like the rest of them kind of complain because they chase the wrong qualities. You know, they're after just that stereotypically attractive person. Set your stream quality down, keeps freezing up. Okay, I guess I gotta figure that out real quick.
Surprisingly, I'm not having that problem today, but I do usually have that problem.
Would that be like the bit rate, or?
Yeah.
I don't know what I should put it down to. It's at 2500 right now. I don't want to screw it up too much. We'll do 2000 and see what happens. Because I don't know what the settings are. Anyway. I got a little bit off track there. But yeah, I feel like they're kind of chasing these stereotypically attractive people that don't really have any substance to them, and then they get surprised when they get screwed over, or when the girl's not really interested in anything other than shallow shit. It's like, yeah, what did you expect? You know, it's basically like a trophy girlfriend situation, because you're not looking for qualities that matter. You're looking for, you know, the prize, the diamond on the outside, but you're not paying much attention to what the person is like, you know, their character.
So your mother's basement, then.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, a certain level of attraction to someone is important. I don't think most people would deny that, but if that's the majority of what you're after, you're going to be unhappy. Because people can't stay connected forever on that basis alone. At least not in a meaningful way. I mean, looks fade, for one. And two, I feel like people like that are more likely to have the grass is greener syndrome, where, you know, once somebody that looks like the next Ken or Barbie doll comes along, they're out because they found something better. And, you know, better being in quotation marks, obviously. But those people, you know, they deserve what they get. They're going to end up miserable. And I don't think that genuine people, in spite of being hurt, should let themselves have their lives ruled by somebody that obviously didn't care for them in the first place. And to take that and then apply it to everybody else, that doesn't seem like the rational thought process that they want to portray it as, even with the whole 50% marriage statistic, because again, they're not looking into the reasons for what that is, and certainly by just throwing it out as a talking point to avoid relationships, you're obviously not interested in trying to remedy the problem and to come up with all these alternatives to kind of push people away from relationships in general. That's also not going to bridge any sort of gap between the genders. That's basically just avoiding it. And you can't fix a problem if all you do is avoid it. That is monkey branching. Or they date two people at once. We're getting to the poly relationships. Wait a minute. Why is Discord working like this? Okay, there we go. So you enjoying this so far? Are you enjoying the hologram marriages?
Oh yeah, it's very progressive.
I mean, it's probably not. It's probably seen as misogynistic because they're probably like, see, they just see women as objects after all. Like, no, they're pretty much just telling you they don't want to be bothered with women at all.
It's just finding love in all the wrong places.
And this whole, like, oh, we must accept different kinds of love thing, that's a very stupid argument because that could very easily be applied to some really messed up shit.
Love is love, guys. Even if she's 13.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Ender Wiggins here?
You know, speaking of that, I was watching a whole bunch of those Chris Hansen clips on YouTube earlier. Some of the excuses that the guys came up with were just golden. One of the guys was like, oh, I just came over here to check up on her because I knew she was talking to older guys online. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. It's like, come on now. Come on. You sent her dick pics. What are you talking about?
I sent you dick pics. Please respond.
Yeah. Oh, no. Sargoy of Jerusalem. It depends on the child.
Oh, God.
Nice username there.
Finding love in all the wrong holes.
Oh, Ninja, I was replying to what Keenan said about dating more than one person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've actually never, speaking of that though, I've never heard of it called monkey branching. That's kind of funny though. Makes
monkey's
sense.
grabbing too many branches.
Yeah, I don't know. This just seems like a really ridiculous way to, I don't know, live in denial.
Well,
How can it ever be enough?
It seems like a guy who has never succeeded in actually talking to women, and so instead of trying again and again until he gets it right, he just gives up, and so his only option is to date a virtual program or something like that. But
Which, might I add, is not any kind of relationship at all. I mean, somebody to wake you up, somebody to say goodbye to you when you leave the house, and somebody that says, hi to you when you get home, and then good night before you go to sleep. That's it. It's like 4 or 5 commands. That's it.
I would love a wife who only has 20 phrases.
The sad part is some people would. But
this guy.
I feel like when people have that kind of attitude, it's like, I understand some people make jokes about stuff like that. Oh, like my wife talks too much or whatever. Yeah, great, that's funny. But when people are like serious about that shit, it just makes me think, if that's how you really feel about somebody, why are you even with them in the first place? To me, it doesn't make sense. Like, if that's your attitude, if you're just so, deflated and miserable with your situation, why are you in it in the first place?
Yeah, get out of there. It's like, it reminds me of that video, I can't remember if it was BuzzFeed or some other stupid journalist program or whatnot, but I remember a video where this girl's had like 2 boyfriends, and apparently they were all right with it, but you could clearly tell the other guy was like dying inside.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This is just absolute clown world to me, and I just find it a little bit disheartening that so many people seem to be for the idea, or at least think that it's justified in the sense that, oh, there's nothing good left out there. I mean, there's a whole planet, a whole world, and you mean to tell me there's not one person, not a single one that you could maybe get along with and, hang out with and spend some time together and maybe develop some feelings?
No, she's on the other side of the world and you can't reach her.
Sure you can. You have the internet now.
You have the internet. Siri is looking kind of sexy right now. I think they have made a movie about that one.
Oh, didn't they? It was called like She or something?
It was her.
Her, she, her, whatever. I'm fucking up all the pronouns.
Oh god. I didn't watch it because I don't want to see a guy. If I want to see a guy jerking off to his phone.
Oh no, is that really a scene?
I have no idea. It's just.
Oh, I kind of want to watch it just to see. Like,
just to see.
Not the jerking off part, if that's even in there. Just the movie in general. I'm curious what they do with it. And
I heard it was a good movie, but I'm not very convinced.
I'm just curious, like, what direction they took with it. If there's a sad ending, because it's like, oh, she can never really love you. It's just a machine.
Oh, no.
They pull the plug at the end.
Her battery died.
Oh no!
Oh no! Please, I don't have enough money to buy another battery. You cost like $2,000.
I don't know. It's just kind of weird that society is sort of at this point where there's a lot of self-indulgence, I guess.
Well, at least this guy married something that resembled a woman. And I remember there was a woman who married a wall. Just a wall or a bridge.
That's just ridiculous.
I'm very confused, and I was very confused. I'm like, you don't want to kiss that? That's rusty.
Finally, a woman I can drop down the stairs without getting in trouble. Nice.
Or you can just shut off.
You don't have to worry about her rights either.
No.
No voting in this household. But yeah, a lot of these replies were the same. I I guess that doesn't really cover all of them.
Hologram.
There were some retweets of the same nature, and it just got really obnoxious to get the same notification over and over again and have people say the same thing and act like what they were saying was being stated for the first time. It's like, does anybody ever look through the thread before they reply and at least see if maybe they had an original idea, or at least if you agree with something, you know, word it in your own way so that you kind of add something to the topic? But no, it's just, you're getting a real woman. I'm so clever.
Tee-hee. But it's kind of weird because usually stereotypically it's always women that say that you know, get with a guy and then they break their heart and they're like, oh, all guys are terrible dogs. I'll never.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like,
guys doing it.
well, that's the thing. It shows that even though there are differences, you know, there's more similarities than these people seem to think. I mean, one of the people were saying that, you know, oh, it's the female nature to be like dependent on what the guy can provide for you rather than, you know, anything of, I guess anything that would make it last, because once that goes away, then they leave you and find someone else. But it's like, all right, yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be people out there like that don't want to deal with someone past a certain point if they're not, quote unquote, getting what they want out of the situation anymore. But I would argue that those are people that, you know, they don't really understand what a commitment means, what it means to care about someone, and they label whatever it is that they're feeling as love, but it's not really, because you don't just stop caring about a person if they lose their job. That's not how that works.
Yeah, it's not like in the movies where the guy loses his job to no fault of his own, and then all of a sudden the wife and kids leave or something like that. I've seen movies like that, and I'm like, what? She just left him because the boss fired him for no reason? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and I mean, look,
we're going to grandma's house, kids. I'm
sure things like that happen, but then to take that and, you know, spread it around the entirety of the issue is kind of ridiculous in my view. And, you know, it's not one-sided. There are obviously, you know, there's obviously guys out there that have the same sort of conditions. It may not necessarily be financial, but it manifests in other ways. You know, girl gains 10, 20 pounds, maybe the guy's out. That happens.
It's like, bitch, I didn't marry you to eat all the cake.
Yeah.
And then there's the other thing. I remember the guy who played Superman was talking about this, where he was afraid to even date a girl. Even with his wealth, he could easily pick up a woman and everything like that. He has the looks and everything, but due to the whole #MeToo thing, you know, there's some men that are afraid they're going to be accused of rape or something like that.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. That was a fun reaction that people gave to that one.
Oh yeah, and I'm like, well, I mean, there's probably like a 1 out of 1,000 chance that happens or whatnot. But
I mean,
still.
he sort of has a point in the sense that that's the, you know, that's kind of the environment that they are cultivating. But obviously, not everybody's going to listen to that. But another thing that I thought of that I find interesting about these guys that want to, you know, use this feminism thing and whatnot, and it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. Feminism has been obviously been damaging to relationships and stuff. But then another talking point that I've heard, and I've even had to point out to people before, is that I can't remember the exact percentage, but it's something like somewhere between like 25 and 32% is the percentage of women that identify as feminists in the U.S., which,
oh dear,
it's less than half. I mean, so to be like all women follow that, you know, kind of lifestyle isn't accurate.
Well, then you also got to think these, you know, some of these women may identify as feminists, but how many of them actually go through with all the ideologies of feminism? Especially, you know, like especially the progressive feminism.
Well,
bullshit.
they kind of take it over the edge. I at this point I would argue any of it is bad just because it's so tainted. But and plus, what else can they do? They have all the same rights at this point. There's nothing left. They're just making shit up. That's why you have all this, the mansplaining, the manspreading, all those stupid words that they want to use to make themselves sound like they're clever when they just really sound retarded. Things that aren't problems, things that you can point to situations where it's obviously a woman doing the very same thing, but we don't come up with a word just for that.
Well, it's not enough to have equal rights. You have to also, step on men, and, you have to have all the power. You have to dominate.
I don't know. I guess it kind of bothers me to see people be very defeatist towards this, just because it's obvious that they have a problem with it. And if you have a problem with something, just sitting there and, throwing your statistics out into the ether doesn't really do anything. I'm not sure exactly, what I would suggest as far as, like, repairing society. That's obviously going to take a little bit more effort.
You got to build a wall.
Yeah, maybe. Throw all the women over, right?
Oh, God.
No, but I just think on an individual level that if you shouldn't delude yourself if you've been hurt by somebody, or if you just read some bad stories. I feel like some people just kind of, I heard about this, my friend went through this, my cousin went through this, or, these guys on the internet I know went through this. It's like, yeah, okay, that sucks, but you can't apply that to your own life. Things could work out differently for you. Take caution, obviously, but that, that's what you do when you get into any kind of situation. You don't let your guard down right away. You feel things out and see what's going on, but I don't know. I just think giving up, if you obviously want some kind of a connection, giving up is really the wrong answer.
And also, about that building a wall comment, I think there was an episode of The Fairly Odd Parents that actually did that, where where Timmy accidentally made a wish to separate all the genders, but then by the end of the episode, both
did you just say all the genders?
All the genders, all two of them.
Okay, all right, there better be all two.
Oh, phew. Oh, I'm sweating. But anyway, but then by the end of the episode, they were both kind of upset because there was part of the human experience that was missing, and so they ended up, finding each other again.
Yes, and that's exactly my point, is that they're using all these stupid things that obviously can't have the capacity to replace it as sort of this placebo for that human experience that they're lacking, but they're just denying that that's what they're after or what they're doing. Like, well, I don't need this because I have this, even though what this is just a pseudo representation of what I can't have or don't have.
Well, until they are able to make a woman like Weird Science, I'm out.
I see you there screaming for brutal doom there, but I don't even know if I have it yet, but not tonight, obviously.
Also, Butch Hartman is apparently based, which I don't know what that means. I tried looking it up, what based means, and I'm still confused.
It means whoever says it is unemployed. That's what it means.
Ah. Oh, okay. Well, shit, I'm unemployed after a whole year of trying to get a job.
I don't know. This is kind of... It reminds me. It just reminds me of when people were talking about the sex robots thing, and I kind of poked some fun at that in the video, and people did not take very kindly to that. They got very, very outraged about it, and like, why are you trying to ban this? And it's like, well, first of all, I mean, that always seems to be the extreme that they go to. Like, just because I disagree with something or think it's stupid or retarded doesn't mean I'm calling for banning it. Unless I specifically say that I want it banned, I'm probably not doing that, because just no. I mean, that doesn't really align with anything that I've put out there so far. I mean, I can think you're stupid, and you can still have the freedom to be stupid. Sex robots will happen. Yeah, I mean, we're already kind of getting there, sadly.
Will we get to the point where they stop being creepy? Find out in 100 years.
Yeah, that's going to take some time. But even then, I still feel like it's kind of creepy. I mean, they're not real people.
Well, they're trying to do it within the infancy of robotics, so it's kind of like that ugly baby that's just been born.
Well, you know, leave it to humanity to pervert absolutely anything they can get their hands on.
Oh God.
I mean, that's
Bowser.
that whole Rule 34 thing exists for a reason, right?
Oh yeah. If there's a character, there's porn of it.
Which is
somewhere.
really disturbing because there's a lot of characters out there that there should never ever be anything. I mean, we could argue there, you know, depending on what your opinion is, maybe there should be none, but there's, you know, a lot of childhood characters, for example. That's just too far.
Well, you got to take some liberties with the original design. Got to give it some boobs, and then it'll be all right.
To be fair, it's furthering robotics. I mean, I guess in a sense, but I don't know, just not in the right direction. Yeah, that's more or less what I'm kind of getting at. It's like you've got all this technology and you know, all this potential. And that's where we're going? I mean, it's not like there's any shortage of human beings out there. So
Yeah.
it's kind of seems, I don't know, maybe a bit too preemptive to be like, oh, we need this to replace, you know, relationships. Like, no, you really don't. There's enough people out there for, you know, so maybe at least everybody can have at least one person in their life.
Also, another thing that I'm shocked someone didn't reply to you with is how what is it? How Japan works people half to death. So they can't
yeah.
meet
I mean,
each
I've
other.
seen those before. I still, you know, obviously things like that do affect relationships. I mean, people kind of, if they don't work at it, they kind of lose their interest in each other or end up doing stupid shit when they don't see each other enough because of conflicting work schedules and stuff. I mean, I've seen that happen. It does happen, but it doesn't have to. It's people get comfortable and they lose, you know, they forget that what the situation they're in takes work, and they have to kind of do something, put in effort to maintain that, even when you get tired or even when you get bored or angry. You know, it's not this magical thing that just carries on because you have to put the work in, and it seems like a lot of people just don't really want to do that when it comes down to it.
Well, they've been watching one too many Disney movies, I guess. I don't know. It's just
Hey,
like,
but even in the Disney movies, hold on a second, even in the Disney movies, they work their asses off for those princesses.
yeah, it took Ariel a lot of determination to get her vocal cords back.
There you
and
go,
then
and that was a
rammed
princess
the-
doing it for the man. They turned it around.
And then the man like rammed a ship into the sea witch person. So
Okay, so it balances out, you know.
yeah. Although in the original book, she
Doesn't she
Ariel
drown
ended up
herself or
turning into-
something?
Well, what happened
Yeah.
is that she lost her vocal cords, and whenever she would walk, it was very painful for her. And the prince ended up getting with another woman and being really shitty to Ariel.
Oh no.
And if Ariel killed the prince, then she would be able to just go back to being a mermaid, back to the sea. But she still loved him enough where she just jumped in the water and turned into sea foam.
Well, good thing that's a fictional story, right? Because women can't love.
That's why it's fiction.
But if you throw them into water, they will turn into sea foam. Little known fact. It has to be salt water, though.
Oh,
Is
okay.
is that why so many of the feminists I knew never took baths?
James
Yeah,
has a good
that's why they're
point.
land whales.
Has a good point here. I think society has opted for the easy way out. Everything has to be instant or not at all. Yeah, there's definitely like an attitude of instant gratification, especially with especially with social media and all that stuff. it doesn't help by any means. Even stuff with like, convenience of making purchases, and you got your 1-day
Amazon.
shipping. Yeah, you got your drone drop-offs. All that stuff. You got your Uber Eats and whatnot. It's all very lazy. It's like, yeah, those are conveniences for, if somebody is busy with real productive stuff. But I see a lot of people that do that stuff that don't need to. They could get up and get out and go and get something themselves, or they could go to the store if they really wanted to because the item that they want is there. But it just has become like so much easier to just push a button and get what you want.
That's what I liked.
You say as I made a purchase on Amazon today.
I mean, look, to be fair,
but it wasn't something that you could get in the
yeah,
store.
to be fair, I did too, and it was also something I couldn't get in the store. So
I might be old-fashioned.
But I actually went to my computer and typed in Amazon.com. I didn't go look for a little cylinder and tell it to go buy something.
Oh, that's another thing I've been thinking about a lot, especially when all these things have been coming out like, oh yeah, those things are recording you. It's like, yeah, I mean, who didn't see that coming? I have no interest in any kind of gadget like that. I just feel like one day I'm just going to be so out of the technology loop that I'm going to be considered off the grid, even though I'm living on like a main street, because I've just refused to have any kind of like robotic or automated shit involved in my life at all.
Yeah, not the job I have now, but the job I left. I remember I can usually tell if I'm going to like a place by what people say in the first day. And I remember one of the people, that was one of the things they were complaining about, because they're like, well, do you have this or do you have that? And like, no, I don't really like the idea of something that I can't control just recording me in some way, or I just don't want to deal with all the headache of trying to stop all of that. Just, I don't need it, so I don't buy it. And they're like, oh, that's dumb. You're one of those kinds of people. Like, smart?
Yeah, right. It's like, well, you see, you're standing in the way of progress, and if you don't move along with the world, it's going to leave you behind. And all these stupid platitudes that mean absolutely nothing. Just because something is new, I don't have to go along with it.
Also,
I mean,
Google to work.
Case in point. Apple and their products don't use any new technology. They use old stuff. They just change the software, and then they sell it for way more than they spent to make it.
Yeah, that's the thing I saw recently, the court case that used the guy's Alexa for a conviction. That's so messed up.
So Apple can kind of be considered the supreme of cell phones.
Yeah, like that's actually, for some reason, every website I go to, Luddite is a 4-letter word, and from my perspective, because I think one of the reasons that person said that to me was that he is young, and I am not that young. I've been in the tech industry for over a decade, so I know what can happen from experience, from doing it. Or from either doing it or seeing somebody else do it. So I say, well, I don't want that because I know what they can do, and I don't want to take that risk. He just looks at it as, well, I'm in tech, and we should be on the forefront of everything.
Cutting edge. Yeah, that's what I feel like. It's also like the generational gap where I can still, I can obviously remember a time before I had the internet, before I had a cell phone. But these people, they grew up with it, and so it's normal to them. There's no concern about, I don't have to worry about the little robot stealing my private information. It's just natural for that to happen. It doesn't seem like it's even a thought that crosses their mind or concerns them. And I don't say that as a way to just be like, oh, everybody's stupid, but just more of that's what they're used to, so it seems like it's normal. But also everybody's stupid. Just
Also, I remember a time when you could go to the store and rent things and physically touch them. There was no Netflix.
Well, now you can rent digitally. You could just go to Amazon and rent a movie for $2.99, which I refuse to do, by the way.
Well, you can go to one of those red box things, but I actually liked going into a store and actually looking at things because they had all kinds of old movies like old horror movies like Freddy and.
Well, yeah, and then
Nightmare
you
on Elm
had like
Street
the
3.
VHS boxes or the DVD cases and whatnot on the shelf, and you could spend 3 hours in there picking out a movie and that you're gonna hate and that you're stuck with for the whole weekend.
Oh, movie gallery, you died too young.
You can only pick one. Don't choose poorly.
I think Blockbuster died first, and then movie gallery went. And I had like 50 free movie passes or whatnot. I could like rent 50,000 gazillion movies for free, and I wasn't even able to use close to any of them before they went down.
You should try to put them on eBay as some sort of collector's item.
Oh god, no! These were on an account. I don't have any physical things.
Oh no! It already went digital.
No, yeah.
See if you had like little coupons or tickets or something. Like, this is from a time before.
The land before time, but not with dinosaurs.
Misrenting a game from Blockbuster as a kid. I forgot what the one... There was a rental store that was inside the Walmart here. I forgot what that was called.
I remember going to Blockbuster and I found Goosebumps V8 or DVDs, and I found Hook for the first time. I was like, oh, that looks neat. And I got a Cubics game. I think you could even buy games from Blockbuster. Just say, hey, I want to buy that game, and then you could get it.
Yeah, the rental store that I was just mentioned, I think they gave you the option sometimes to buy the games. I remember wanting like Final Fantasy 3, but I think they wanted $80 for it or something.
Oh god.
Which, at the time I was a child and didn't have $80.
Yeah, Netflix did have a chance to buy Netflix, and they passed on it.
Oof. I bet they're kicking themselves now.
Oh, Blockbuster is rolling.
And could we maybe have trusted Blockbuster a bit more to do better original series than Netflix is doing now? Maybe we wouldn't have all those weird, perverted children's shows.
Yeah. What actually concerns me a lot, since we're on this subject, I have an extreme distrust of tech companies and like it perplexes me when I see companies like Netflix. There was another company, and I can't remember what it's called. It was founded by two brothers, and they're like, oh, this is a $20 billion company, which that means is that some people went and gave a valuation of $20 billion, which is the most arbitrary number anybody can pull out of anywhere. But it just drives me crazy, for one, because you'll have all these people on professional social networks anyway, going around talking about, oh, well, Wyndham is, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of dollars that they made in revenue, and they have all of these hotels and things like that. Whereas, no, 7 billion, I think. Whereas Airbnb is like a $10 billion company, and they don't own anything. This is the future, and this is what we need to praise and accept. Where you have these companies that are getting these ridiculous valuations, and you have like explosive pretend money because of how the especially any kind of startup tech investment goes. And it's the most ridiculous thing to me, because most of last year and part of this year, I spent time yet again trying to create my own startup, and then I ended up at other startups. And this is a lie and a fallacy that everybody just believes. Even if they didn't believe it before, the minute that they start going and looking for investment or whatever, everybody falls right in line, and they all fall for this stuff. And once again, in that case, they're turning into NPCs, because they're all saying the same thing. Well, you need to be able to work hard, and you need to basically be willing to. Because I remember one guy was like, "Oh, I had to sleep in my office. I lost my wife, my family.
Oh, jeez.
But now my company is worth $20 million, and so it was all worth it." Like, no, there nothing that you did, nothing you could do with that company, which didn't do anything interesting anyway, is worth what everything that you lost for it.
Well,
Like, oh, it was hard, but in the end, I got what I wanted. Yeah, you got what you wanted at what expense?
well, see, it just goes to show women don't love you.
Yeah,
She
there you
left.
go. But
It had nothing to
the-
do with his behavior. She just walked out because she has no capability to love.
But the problem I have with it is that like these guys get so much attention, and it's just like social media. Everybody craves that attention because they want to be the next Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg or something. Nobody wants to be the guy that owns the local grocery store that ends up actually owning the entire shopping center, including all the other stores there, and has everybody paying for them, or the person that owns all of this land or something. They don't want to be the guy. They don't want to be the rich person that nobody knows owns.
They
all
just
of
want to
these
be
things.
like super well known. They want the
Right.
famous rich guy thing.
Right. So they all go and they go to the church of Mark Cuban and Gary Vee and all of these other names that I hear way too much, and it's like, and they all do the same thing. They all are like, well, it was because I worked hard. And then you go and you look into their stories, and it's like either they inherited a business, they inherited money, or they got a lot more help than they let on. Like Jeff Bezos worked at some kind of investment or capital firm or something before he started Amazon, and so he would take these micro loans and go to friends and family who already had money for investment. It's like, it's easy to be the richest person when you already started off rich. And I'm not saying anything against people that do that. I'm not being one of those types of people.
Yeah, I mean, if you got the
I'm just-
connection, you know, you're going to use it, obviously. But
Right. It's my problem is just when everybody wants to say, well, it was because I worked hard and the rest of you are lazy. Like, no, it really isn't, because there are plenty of people that work hard all the time and their businesses fail.
well, since we want to imaginary inflate, the value of companies, I'm going to do a startup, and it's going to be funded entirely with all the monopoly money in the box.
Oh man, all the monopoly money.
Yeah.
I told you once that there was a restaurant and all they served was grilled cheese. They
Yeah.
call it a grilled cheese startup, and
Grilled cheese.
that person got $5 million to run a company that sold $8 grilled cheese sandwiches.
I mean,
think
I
there's a
could
restaurant
see-
that does that with noodles.
I could see that working. I mean, I don't know if it's worth $5 million, but I could see that working if you did like different variations on the sandwich. I mean, I imagine they would have to. I think.
Eventually, yes, they were going to have to, but at that point, it was just grilled cheese sandwiches, and that was it. And it wasn't that it was even they considered it to be worth $5 million. He asked for he got $5 million in venture capital money, so he got $5 million of somebody else's money
Yeah.
to go run this business. And their justification for that, from what I remember, is that, well, we knew this guy when he used to sell cameras at Best Buy and he was good at it.
Well, plus they remember when, they were little boys and they would just come home after school and have a nice grilled cheese sandwich with a can of Campbell's tomato soup. Ninja says, what if a sex robot malfunctions while giving you a BJ? I wouldn't trust it. Yeah, I guess they would just have to turn transgender after that.
It'd be like that movie Teeth.
They would
Reminds
turn
me
it
of-
into David Charette.
Oh God, no.
Nobody wants that.
Hopefully-
Hey, we have 777 followers. That's a symbol of good luck.
The holy number.
All 7 fever. Well, if there was one extra 7.
But I'm reminded of that that episode of The Big Bang Theory, which is
Oh,
now
no.
turned into a poopy show. But anyway, Howard, since he's the engineer, he was working on this hand, and kind of see where's this going. And he was massaging himself with it, and he's like, "Oh, this feels like a real hand." And then he ends up trying to jerk himself off with it, but then he accidentally turned it to screw driving mode. And so if he turned it back on, it would start twisting. And he had to go to the hospital. They didn't have a code for someone jerking themselves off with a robotic hand, so she just restarted the program. And then he did it again by the end of the episode.
Is this like when people go to the emergency room and they have like light bulbs in their anus and stuff?
Yeah, or a skyscraper, or they have.
Or they try to inflate themselves.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I think that's a life-ending situation. Didn't somebody kill themselves that way?
I think somebody did kill themselves, but somebody also got severely damaged. Like I think they lost all their teeth. And,
Wow.
I can't remember how many body parts were destroyed, but yes, does a lot of damage.
I was just reminded of an article I shared on Twitter where a guy got a Megatron up his butt somehow.
The Autobots rolled out.
Yeah, well, no.
Well, the Decepticons rolled in. My mistake.
The Decepticons got a bit down and dirty, and then apparently that was not his only Galvatron toy up his asshole as well. How do you fit such a thing up there?
See, kids, this is why degeneracy is bad.
It's like, why would you do that with? It's like, no, stop. You need help.
I don't know. The human brain is, at the same time, one of the most interesting and most disturbing things in all of existence. The things that people think of, you're just like, what is this? How do you even decide that this is a good idea? What is going on in your life that it comes to this?
It's like what Jeff Goldblum said. You know, you thought a lot about if you could and not if you should.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty much the moral of this entire stream today?
Yeah.
Pretty
I
much.
think so.
That reminds me, I don't remember what it was. There was a post that I made on Twitter the other day where I thought it'd be funny to add in an image of him saying life finds a way, but I can't remember what post it was. I think I just went ahead and posted it without it because I was too lazy to track down the image.
Oh no, not the auto.
Pointless story since I don't remember what post it was supposed to go along with, but here we are.
Jeez. I feel almost ashamed to be a Transformers fan, but then I realize I don't stick toys up my asshole, and then I go back to being happy again.
Yeah, well, that has less to do. That has less to do with the quote unquote fandom, and more to do with the disturbed people that sometimes tend to navigate towards escapism.
The robots in these guys.
Oh, there we go.
Oh man, all these great jokes.
Yeah, I mean, did you see the thing where CNN is like diving into the world of furries now?
Oh no, not the world of furries.
My local one of the local news stations is doing that too. They're trying to do that not all furries are bad thing.
What is the point though? Who even cared?
It's like couldn't people determine for themselves not all furries are bad? They just don't care for the whole suit thing. Also, it's very sweaty in those things, I would assume. You know, it's just all hot.
The video that they had on the CNN thing was extremely cringeworthy. It was this woman that, I don't know, she was married, but she would dress up in this fursuit thing. She's like, when I dress up in here, I feel like a different person. I feel alive. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, isn't it interesting that the people that always go on about normalization end up themselves wanting to normalize the most ridiculous things themselves? There we go with that high level projection again.
That reminds me, I think they were doing an interview with Jim Carrey just recently about the Grinch and talking about when he was in that suit, he took over. The Grinch was the one doing the show. I'm like, dude, you're an actor.
He's pretty insane. Over. So,
yeah.
Fun fact: oil plus furry plus match equals large mobile bonfire to roast marshmallows. It's a great it's a great recipe right there.
Yeah, very flammable.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, it's interesting because everybody wanted to deny that it would go down that path, but little by little, it's like, oh, you know, first we got the LGBT stuff, now we got the furries, the pedophiles. It's like, where does it go next?
Where does it stop?
How insane are we going to get? Like, just because something is considered to be in a minority or a taboo, it doesn't mean that it has to be like propped up as something that needs to be seen as good or protected or defended. And that's sort of what it seems like they're doing now.
I'm shocked incest hasn't been trying to be normalized.
Oh, man.
And that's like
well, I won't say that they've tried to do that, but I have seen articles that were like, I married my father and, crazy shit like that.
Oh, God.
Well, it's still disturbing, but it's things like, my dad didn't raise me, and then we met, and then somehow they fall in love, and it's like, no, how do you even think of the person like that? It's like, you're taking your daddy issues to the next level on that.
Man, I remember there was a dude who married his mom because of that same reason, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, she smells like moldy cheese. It's just why. I mean, come on.
Pedos are going too far. Swing a pedo from the thickest branch.
Murder sex is next. Oh no.
Do I want to know?
Oh God. I remember the first podcast I was on with you, we were talking about a transgender person getting murdered after the guy found out she was trans, so technically that's murder.
Oh, does that count?
I think so. I'm going to count it. There was one chick who married her son, then married her daughter, and then she married her dog. No, I'm just kidding.
Have you noticed the people who always do that are beyond disgusting / unfuckable? Yeah, okay. I mean, that's definitely fair. I mean, I honestly think that there's some sort of, not just, they're crazy, but there's some sort of like psychological thing going on there with that missing father figure thing.
It's almost, I guess it's like they don't even see them as a father because they haven't seen them their whole life.
I mean, I guess, but
like,
if you tell me that I'm related to somebody, they're kind of off my list. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned and adverse to change.
Or you end up getting with someone and you think that they're not related to you, but then they turn out being related to you.
Yeah, I've heard of some crazy situations like that. I mean,
happened to my cousin.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I mean, well, how close was the relation though? I mean, because I know some of it's like it doesn't matter past a certain point. I'd still feel weird about it, but
they were still in high school. It was, I think the most that they did was like making out or whatnot, but then,
oh no!
But then her mother found out that who she was dating is like, oh my God, that's your cousin.
Oh no!
And then she confronted her cousin, and he was like, oh, you're that person, and I was like, how many other people of that name do you know? It's like,
whoops.
Oh, you're that Sarah. Oh man.
Oh, tough break. Guess we got to break up.
Oh dear.
It's like, we're already dating, so might as well just...
It was fun while it lasted. We can't deny it no longer, though.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, things like that, it's a mistake, I guess. That one's a little silly because you could have just deduced from the name and asked, but there's been situations where, people don't know that they're, I don't know, like half brother and sister and whatnot and things like that. I mean, that's probably emotionally scarring when you find out and you're not the type of person that's into that sort of thing.
Didn't you have a guest come on one of your streams once that had that problem?
Yes, I did.
Wait, who is that?
I kind of forgot about that guy because he disappeared.
Yeah, but I couldn't forget his horrible blog where he talks about how I think he lost his virginity, or at the very least had sex to somebody he discovered was his sister.
Yeah, that was...
Let me check if you're my cousin before I finger you.
Yeah, and that was during a huge argument on Twitter too, and I remember I wasn't very nice about that.
Necrophilia. Oh
Yeah, that because he kept trying to justify his white knighting.
Oh, he was pestering about the Crunchyroll censorship thing for some reason.
Yeah, but it was all under the guise of white knighting for women. And when you're like, dog, nobody's gonna have sex with you. Get over it. And he's like, no, I got to do this because that's how you play the game. You got to do that because they won't even pay attention to you if you don't if you don't stand up or white knight for them. Like, okay,
It's like, who are you talking to? Because I've never met anybody that enjoys that sort of thing.
Every time I've done that, I can assure you I never got a date from doing it. But when I don't do that, I've gotten a date. So I'm gonna go ahead and say being a white knight, especially online, is probably not gonna get you anything.
So
I will say that those guys that do that have kind of ruined certain interactions, because now it's like almost anything where the person happens to be female and you're kind of in agreement with them, that can also just very easily be written off as white knighting. So that's kind of obnoxious.
Well, a lot of guys do have the tendency to go way overboard. Like, it's a thing I've noticed. I don't have anything scientific on it, so those facts and evidence people aren't going to be happy. But when I've gone on like streams or something, especially if the audience is generally male and then one woman shows up,
Yeah.
it's maximum cringe what happens. And I've seen that even a well-meaning person who's not trying to white knight, they just take it overboard because it's like, oh, I gotta impress the woman. No, you don't.
No, probably not. It's not
you don't
worth
have
the
to
effort.
impress her, you just want to, and then you fail miserably.
Well, unless the woman is trans, then there was that one guy on Twitter who talked about how some girl that you were arguing with had a lovely feminine penis.
Oh, I do remember that. That was disturbing. That guy had dick pictures on his timeline. I really didn't need to come across that.
And then there's the, hi, I think I'm real guy who has a tranny fetish that he can't deny.
And then there was that one guy that was making a big deal about Gundam who was equally cringy and creepy.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I don't have the thread in front of me because I had to close out of Skype because of OBS.
Oh.
OBS. My husband's from Alaska. I know I'm safe. Alaska is my place of refuge. If things go too crazy, Alaska's where I run away to so I can be far from everything.
And then one day be called by your military superior and have to fight a giant robot with nuclear capabilities?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, of course. I just finished watching a video of that because I don't have a working copy of the game. So if somebody can,
Metal Gear Solid, folks.
If somebody could hook that up, send me a legal, fully licensed copy, of course, of that game.
Box number so and so.
Yeah, I might be able to dig something up there.
So we can set something up for you, yeah. Also, quick question. If there's a white knight, does that mean there's also a gray knight and a black knight? And if so, what do they do?
Well, I'm always the black knight, so...
Turn down the resolution so my shitty internet can connect. Let me take a look. I don't even know what it's set at right now.
The quickest way.
Oh, you know what? Unfortunately, I can't do it while I'm on air, so I would have to do it for next time around. It doesn't let you change it while you're on stream. Whoops.
Oopsie daisies. Also, I've been looking at this Halloween is better than Christmas anyways, and I'm getting very frustrated that people unironically say "my dude." Who the
I've
fuck
seen a
says
lot of
my
that.
dude?
Actually, it's right up on. It's up on the screen right now.
It is. I've been looking at it, and I've just been like going into a slow rage. Like, who the fuck says my dude?
Destiny.
I've hated being called a dude since like high school.
Dude,
so more than
that's honest.
almost more than half my life. No, more than half my life. I have hated when somebody has called me dude, and especially because back in those days it was always the people trying to act like they're stoners or something. So
Or the Teenage Mutant
I
Ninja
always
Turtles.
I always get into a blinding rage whenever I see it.
Cowabunga, dude. I mean, I don't mind
That's
people
the
saying
only
the
time.
word.
That's the only time it's acceptable. But no, it was like they kept calling me dude, and I'm like, don't call me that.
Well, I don't mind the
because
word dude.
because they'll get mad. They'll get mad if I call them sons. I'm like, well, then don't call me dude.
Yo,
That's
what
right.
up,
We
dog?
need equality.
Yeah.
What's up, my dudes? Just got here, my dudes.
My dude. I don't mind the word dude. I say dude sometimes. It's just the phrase my dude. Like, I don't know. Something about saying my dude. Ugh. Leave TMNT out of this. Nah,
Can we go back to saying cowabunga? That's what I.
Cowabunga, dude.
I call
Can't
everyone
remember what-
Brosolini.
Brosolini.
Jeez.
Sounds like a company.
That's not gender neutral, and you're gonna run into some problems there.
Brasolini. Yo, what
Well,
up, bro?
actually, fascism and Mussolini was right wing. It's not actually socialism at all.
Oh, here we go.
Hashtag not my
Also,
socialism.
anime is I don't know, is a right wing fantasy or something. That's what that one person was after.
Well, which is it? Is it about weeaboos or is it about the right wing? Pick one.
Apparently those are the same thing now. I don't know. I can't keep up with it. It just seems like anything that people don't like is kind of thrown into that category, and that's just the end of it. Gamers, Gaymers. That's how I say it. There is a convention, I believe, called Gamer X or something like that, and it's actually a gay gaming convention. What your sexuality has to do with playing video games, I'll never know, but apparently that's a thing.
I guess it depends on whether you play with a joystick or not. I don't know.
I just call everyone trannies, problem solved. There we go. I don't give a fuck. I piss people off for kicks. That's the way to do it, especially when you're online.
You are still assuming gender, fucker. Oh, God. Anime is a fascist power fantasy. Some blue-pilled takes on this stream.
What is a blue-pilled take in your estimation?
There's been so many people saying red pill. I forgot the blue pill even existed.
I know, right? We're on the black pill stream. I don't know what you guys are on about.
Yeah, it's also how come I can only choose one or the other? It's like when the nostalgia chick or Lindsay Ellis or whatever her name is was talking about, oh, you can only pick one side or the other because of the whole immigration thing. This affects real people. It's like, no, sorry, I don't align with the elephant or the donkey.
I unironically came here and said gamers. I didn't realize you were talking about gay gamers. I wasn't at first. When you said that, it reminded me of that whole that convention thing that I saw, and I got flashbacks. Hey, since this is a stream on blackpilling relationships, got any fucked up stories about exes? I had a bitch convince me she was getting raped by her father constantly, and when I went to leave, she told me she was dying. Wow. Okay, I mean, I don't think I have anything that beats that. That's pretty bad.
Oh dear. Everyone's a trap to someone. Purple pills win.
Well, I mean, the stream was titled that kind of ironically because of the attitude that people were having in response to my just offhand comment of she can't love you. Because their attitude was basically like, oh, it doesn't exist anyway, so why are you even saying that?
It's always great to walk into a party yelling, "What's up, my N-words?" I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that on stream.
I mean, I think Stream Me doesn't care too much, but he did. To be fair, he did say, "What's up, my N-words?"
Yeah.
So in this case, it makes sense to actually say N-word. I had a chick cut her wrists. I threw her a towel to clean that shit up while I called 911. Wow. That's disturbing. Yeah, you know, a long time ago, I mean, this is way, way back, I had a friend that she would send, sometimes she would send photos of her cuts. I'm just like, what is the point of that? Why? I mean, obviously it's attention-seeking behavior, but it just never occurred to me to think of doing that, I guess. I don't know. It's very weird.
It's like, what if she was just like, I cut myself every time.
Well, it's a really shitty thing. It's a really shitty thing to do to somebody because, I mean, if you actually, you know, if you care about your friend, you obviously don't want to see them potentially bleeding to death.
Yeah. I remember when I was at a hospital, I heard a story about a girl. She ended up cutting herself so much on her wrist that they had to amputate her arm.
That's disturbing.
That is very disturbing. Somehow she found some sharp objects, even in a place that isn't supposed to have sharp objects, but she found a way.
Centrists are big gay. Who's a centrist? I don't even.
I guess me on my comment.
Are you? What is your comment? I didn't hear anything
about not choosing one pill or the other. I had a line to either side.
But I mean, I don't even think that the whole pill thing is necessarily a real thing. It's just
I make my own.
It's just
pills.
terminology. I mean,
I make my own drugs. Damn it! No.
There you go.
I'm making my own business, just like Walter White, minus all the cancer.
One of my booty calls sometimes texts me that she's just tired of it all. Tried helping her, but I realized that she coincidentally always had these thoughts when I stopped talking with her often. Yeah, that's probably a bad sign. Just seems kind of like manipulative. Left versus right is bullshit. Doesn't mean you should be a centrist fag. Sorry for caps. We allow caps here. This is a cap-friendly chat room. My cutter girlfriend preferred to heat the metal cap on Bic lighters.
Oh.
Ouch. Yeah, I don't know. I do sympathize with people that have those sort of issues, but it can very easily turn into a manipulative situation where they kind of hold their own well-being over your head, and that's just not something that is healthy for anybody to get involved with. So at some point, you know, I haven't encountered anybody like that in years, but you know, usually I would talk to them for a bit, but when it wasn't going anywhere, I'd just be like, okay, look, you obviously have this problem, but it's more than I can do, so you kind of have to, if you really, really want to change it, you have to get some sort of help beyond, you know, just, oh, look what I'm doing. Because that's not help. It's just indulging in the behavior. Are you serious, Ninja? Are you serious about that, or are you just fucking around? Because that's disturbing.
I had a crazy bitch that liked me to punch her in the kidneys while hitting it from behind. Dear God. That must have been really tough to handle. I mean, you're doing like 60 different actions at once there.
That can't be healthy.
No.
I just can't.
Unless she had a hard time peeing. She needed to be punched. No.
What do you do? Just kidney punch her?
Just
Dead serious. Exactly. I used to be on the brink myself, so I always naturally sympathize. When it catches on that she doesn't take any advice, seemingly just wants attention, I just stop trying. I mean, look, at that point, you know, there's nothing more that you can do. I can relate. I've never been a self-harm person, but, you know, I've obviously had dark periods, but I don't know. There's nothing you can do past a certain point.
Got off every punch. Oh, man.
That's disturbing. What is wrong with people?
Oh, God.
Crossed wiring? It's crossed something.
Dear God. So I guess in a way, Scratch is saying, not everybody can be saved.
Well, I think it's more of you can't do the saving for somebody to a certain extent. Like they have to be willing to save themselves. You can't save somebody who can't save themselves or who's unwilling to try to. By the brink, I just mean suicidal in general. These cunts that like cutting themselves are just fucking dunces who need electroshock therapy. Yeah, I mean, I figured I didn't infer that you were a cutter. I just was saying, you know, for me, it was never like self-harm territory.
Yeah, we'll just go one step.
It's like, I mean, my rationalization is like, if I'm in pain already, why the fuck do I want to feel more? It doesn't make sense. I mean, what I hear from those type of people is like, oh, it's a release for me. It's the only type of pain I can control. But I just think that sounds ridiculous because I'm like, well, I don't want any pain. No thanks.
The point. They're not thinking clearly.
No, but I don't know.
Yeah, but I think part of it is like that the pain that they're causing on themselves is meant to distract them from the other pain, but you know,
yeah,
it's temporary. I mean, it's kind of like taking drugs or any kind of other thing.
Remember the old joke, I wish my grass was emo, it would cut itself? Yeah, I do remember that one. This is a great, I love that one. It's a classic.
Me, when I'm feeling down, I just listen to some heavy metal music. That usually helps.
Yeah, I mean, people just need to have more, more healthy outlets. When you get caught up in doing things like that and then you make a habit of it, it just becomes a self-defeating cycle. And it's weird because it seems like an addiction to some of those people.
Yeah, it's very strange. I don't understand.
I have no filter, so if I see a girl with cuts on her arm, I immediately ask, what's that like? Oh, no. Yeah, it's weird. I guess it's a little bit more common than I thought because I've come across so many social media profiles where I just kind of notice they're not aiming the camera in that direction or anything, but you'll just notice the scars either on their arm or their legs or whatever.
Oh, dear God. I had a redhead that liked to burn candle wax on her tits. Oh, jeez.
Ricky Martin over here.
Man.
Well, before he came out as gay.
Oh, God. Of course, she had to be a redhead, so she was all fiery.
People just need to chill and smoke some crack instead. There we go. That's sound advice.
Crack.
The crack pill.
I would go with weed for the chilling effect, but you know, if you think crack will do the same thing,
cut yourself to own your parents.
This is what you've done to me.
I'm not going to church. Fuck you, Dad.
Fuck you. I'm listening to My Chemical Romance.
There we go. I don't know any modern bands that would be compared to that kind of thing because it's sort of that scene has sort of died down.
Yeah. I can't even think of one. I guess Green Day is still playing stuff. I don't know.
To be fair, some are just scars. Like, I got it cut from a cat on my arm, but it looks like I took a razor to it. Oh, yeah, I mean, you're right, but it's more of when you see all the lines, like, in a row sort of thing. I wouldn't assume just a one-off thing is
Remember,
a result
guys,
of
cut
that.
side to side, not up and down.
Imagine Dragons. Aren't they way too, I don't know, pop now? Like when they first came out, they had that one song that was all right for a little while.
Radioactive.
No, I hated that song right away. It was before that.
Oh, it was before the.
I don't even remember what it was, but it just sounded like a regular, alternative rock song. But then it's got progressively more pop-like and hipstery, and I just can't listen to that shit.
Yeah, I remember when I could used to listen to, was it Maroon 5 for the first half of their first album, and now I can't. Ugh.
So I
Their
never,
song Harder was the only song I liked.
I was never into them, but it seemed like when they started off that they were more into being a band and playing their own instruments, and then later on it just became more produced. Like, where did the guitars go? Where did all that stuff go? It just became electronic type music.
It all started when the lead singer got on the cover of People's Magazine as the sexiest man alive.
Is that what happened? Is that what changed?
I think that seems like that's what happened.
That changes a man.
He got an ego boost. But yeah, I like their first half of their album, Songs About Jane. But other than that, they're kind of boring. I also liked Rob Thomas.
Yeah, I didn't mind him either. I don't know if I could say that anymore. I don't know anything he's really done, but lately. But
also, what happened to Jesse McCartney?
I don't know.
I mean, he played Theodore on those live-action Chipmunk movies, but that's all I know.
I don't even remember. I feel like my sisters used to listen to that, but I don't remember what the terrible song is that made me want to jump off a bridge.
I actually have one of his albums.
Oh no, you just admitted that in the wrong place.
Oh man.
Everybody type faggot in the chat now.
Oh no! I've already had one guy call me a fag for being a centrist.
It's gonna be
or something. I don't know.
Apparently, he's a voice actor now.
Oh, that's neat.
Plays
God.
Roxas in Kingdom Hearts and Nightwing and Young Justice.
Oh, that's neat. It kind of reminds me of when the girl who played Cindy Lou Who ended up being the singer of the band The Pretty Reckless because she thought acting was too easy.
I don't know who that is though.
Oh, I can't remember her name either. Something Monson or something.
Monsoon.
Monson.
Oh,
it kind of looks like Monsoon, but it's like Monson.
Sure, maybe. I don't know what's going on anymore.
I don't either. I've never been called a faggot so many times in my life, or a centrist.
Just put CF in your bio.
Oh God.
Nobody will know what it is, and then when they
I'm
ask
not really
you,
a centrist. I just.
No, I know, but that's what makes it funny. Like, I'm not really a hate speech enthusiast, but it's funny to see people. It's funny to see people react to it like it's genuine. You know how many times I've had somebody be like, "You're disgusting. You're a hate speech enthusiast." Like, do you even know what that means? Do you know what a quotation mark means in this context?
It's like, have you ever seen anybody call themselves a hate speech enthusiast unironically? Also, it's not even a real thing. Yeah, Taylor Momsen. Yeah,
What hurts more, faggot or centrist?
Well, I don't know. If you call me a centrist, then I feel like you're calling me Boogie 2988, so probably centrist. Faggot I can handle, though.
There we go.
It's kind of like this guy at work. He's given me the middle finger so many times that it's become meaningless.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works.
He's joking around, but he's like, it's like he's just constantly just throwing me the middle finger. I'm just like, I don't really feel anything anymore. So you're gonna have to figure out something new. You're a centrist faggot. Oh hell no! Putting the two together, that's no good. No.
It just gets worse from here.
It just gets worse for me. I've mundane matted myself.
Boy, this stream has taken such an interesting turn.
Yeah. Well,
So I like that. There's a well-placed comma there. That makes it a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Just changes it up just a little bit.
Oh yeah. I can always appreciate appropriate grammar, as the internet rarely has it.
Boogie 1488. Now there was a disappointment.
Oh yeah. What's that 1488 all about?
It's the 14 words.
Oh, the 14 words.
I rewrote it and made one about lawnmowers. Because there was a post where, like, on Twitter where this guy's company got, then he hires like teenagers and sort of, teaches them responsibility, and they mow lawns and stuff, and their lawnmowers got stolen. So I made some sort of joke about that where I turned the 14 words into being about lawnmowers. And then there was one where I wrote a version of it for fictional female characters. in video games. I don't have the tweets in front of me, but so I can't pull them up. But they're somewhere on my profile. I thought they were funny because I wrote them, so I'm biased.
Yeah, I remember I saw your tweet where you were at Walmart. It's like, oh, 1488, and I'm like, what? There's some new thing that I'm missing here. I don't keep up with all the trends, unfortunately.
Just look up Carl Benjamin Applebee's on Twitter search.
Wait, does
we must secure the existence of the individual and a future for our stepchildren? That's hilarious.
You know, people say that Sargon works at Applebee's so many times. I'm half convinced that he actually does. If you say it enough time, guys.
See, the only thing is do they have Applebee's in the UK? Applebee's unironically tweeted about him. Wait, did they seriously? I need a link if that's the case. Saying they needed info on him for an investigation.
Stir Fried Doberman is doing a. Oh, well, who's that guy? Who's the Kermit the Frog guy? I completely forgot his name. Jordan Peterson. Yeah, he's doing a Jordan Peterson on me. Clean his room. Go clean your room.
No way.
Yeah.
Hold on a sec. Let me pull. I can't. If you could link that to me in the Discord. I don't know if you're looking at the chat, but if you could link that Applebee's thing, because I can't. I'm monitoring the chat from a separate window, or rather separate device.
There you go.
Alrighty. Let's pull this up. Excuse me, Applebee's. I've just had an incident with one of your employees, Carl Benjamin. I caught him flirting with my underage child, and when I told him that she was a minor, he replied with, "It really depends upon the child." Really? No.
Oh, God.
Can we investigate this further? Please contact us here or call 1-800-592-7753. Oh, my God. That's so fucked up.
Oh, no. Applebee's thinks this is... Oh, no.
This is getting out of control now.
These people are biting off more than they can chew.
I don't know. I gotta say, it's like this is kind of funny. I mean, it's all right because he doesn't work there, but I gotta say, it's getting a little bit ridiculous with the way these guys are, kind of throwing shit back and forth at each other in the sense of it's getting to the extreme of like, oh, here's contact your Patreon, contact this, contact that. It's like you gotta stop. Oh, you found the Jorm found the lawnmower tweet.
Oh. Also, there's a guy who said, now our employee Carl Benjamin just offered me a complimentary plate of deep fried fetus with ranch dressing.
Oh, that's a dead baby joke. That's not right.
Not dead babies, no.
Well, given that I don't know if I don't know if anybody here on the stream, but maybe people in the chat, but that one video where it's like, I don't know, I don't even remember what it's called, something abortion or whatever. That one was terrible. That was just so messed up. I've seen a lot of stuff, and not much, really makes me go like, holy shit. But that was messed up.
Jeez, I don't think I've seen this joke.
I think I might have the video somewhere, but I'll link it later because
I sent you the other tweet in Discord.
Oh, all right. We'll go a little bit more lighthearted.
Can the internet be lighthearted?
14 words, lawnmower edition. You want to know what's really funny? Let me know.
Is this the Oh yeah, it is the Gadsden thing. I think I've seen this before.
Stillborn of a cot. Oh, damn.
Stillborn of. Oh no. If only. Wait, what?
Yeah, that was definitely brutal.
Brutal doom.
That again. Well, I think we have exhausted the topics of this evening's stream. And we're getting to be about that time. So, I'm going to call it a show here. But thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for all the followers and, you know, the general interaction. It is much appreciated as always. Maybe, I don't know, I think since I can't really do one of these every night, maybe I'll just try to do some more just general gaming streams or whatever, you know, so whoever's interested, you know, can come by for that. Definitely understand if that's not your thing, but if it is, I think I'll try to do a little bit more of that lately.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll call the stream #CentralFaggots.
There we go. All right. Thanks, guys, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.